Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday morning. Hump day. Yes, we're here. We're live. We're ready for another day. FOMC is going to share their rate cut or not move today. I think we're anticipating a rate cut. I feel like the rate cut has been priced in, but we'll see. I think it would be a shocker if we got there today and then they said, no, we're not cutting the rates. If they did today and said, no, we're not going to cut them, we're going to just ride it out, people would be all kinds of mad. I think people would be super mad if they get there today and Powell says, no, we're not cutting the rates this time. We're going to leave it one more time. I think folks would be big mad, as they say. I think folks would be big mad if that's what happens. But at this point, we'll see what happens this afternoon at 2:00. Of course, people already know what is to come because people always know. Somebody always knows. That the regular folks like us, we don't know. That doesn't mean that somebody doesn't know, because somebody knows. Definitely got somebody who knows what's going on, who already knows whether it's going to cut or not, that already knows whether it's, what's going to happen. They always got somebody who knows, right? And they ready, got their orders already, that's why when soon as the announcement is made, the market moves like instantly. And the only way it can do that is if like an order is already poised and ready, like it's timed to hit at the exact minute that the announcement comes out. That's the only way that happens, is the announcement or the order has to be timed to hit at the same time the announcement comes out. Otherwise, you wouldn't see that crazy pop or drop that happens immediately. It has to be a preset order, right? That would move that. So, good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday morning. I'm Arlissa, educator to trader. We're going to look at a little pre-market, check out what happened yesterday. Then we'll look to see what is potentially going to happen today, and set yourselves up hopefully to make some profits today, to profit from this movement, from this whole thing we call stock market trading. People say, are you gonna play SPX? Are you gonna play Nvidia? And I don't like to use that terminology, because when you're saying you're gonna play a stock, you're gonna play a trade, I mean, it to me doesn't sound as serious. When you say we're gonna play it, it's almost like playing the lottery, and I don't like it to sound like that. But sometimes it can feel like play. You're like, this feels like somebody playing with me. Sometimes it can feel like somebody is playing. So, of course, as we know, the government shutdown continues. That's causing its own set of issues and angst. We have our military folks who are in harm's way without paychecks. And that to me that's wild work. When we got our military folks in harm's way but not getting paychecks, I think that is wild. But that's just one piece of it. We got other people who back them and support them, and those people aren't getting paid either. We have people who depend on some of the benefits, our vets and people who receive SNAP benefits and other things, who also are not getting those benefits. And people come, they have something, they come to depend on it, coming at a particular time, and then when it comes time for it to come, it doesn't come. Come on. Okay, so keep praying. Those of you who pray, those of us who pray, just continue to pray. Hey, Tanya, good morning. Okay, so SPX 500 is currently at 6908. Yesterday, SPX closed at 68.90, something like that. I'll look at SPX in a minute. I want to say it's around 68, to the top of 68.90s. It was just below 6,900 where it closed, but we're at 69.07 right now. Let's go look at SPX so we can see what did it do yesterday. 68.90. Okay, I was there. 68.90 is where it closed yesterday. I was watching the close because I had 69.05. So once it pulled back away from my strike, because it stayed there way too long yesterday. It stayed there way too long yesterday. Ooh. You see up here, it got on up as high as 69.11. Where are we going? Where are you going? No. But when it pulled back away from there yesterday, I went away and started looking for a trade for my one DTE trade. So I wasn't watching the close. I was able to breathe a little bit. So I wasn't watching the close, but it closed at 68.90, so just below 6,900 yesterday, which I actually didn't anticipate. Honey, love you. Have a good day, okay? I didn't anticipate it closing above 6,900 yesterday, even though it went up there and I thought it would go up there. I didn't anticipate it closing above 6,900 because generally when we bump above a psychological number like 6,800, 6,900, yada, yada, it doesn't generally stay up there after the first bump. After it goes and, goes above there, looks around like, hey, what's going on up here? It comes back to see, no, now we've gone and spied out the land. Let's come on back here and regroup. So this is the regrouping. And now today it's back above 6,900. We'll see, what happens as it does it go back up there, stay up there, yada, yada. Okay. So this is yesterday, SPX yesterday. There was a gap up open yesterday. It gapped up to 68.97, just below 6,900. It pulled back to fill its gap. That whole gap fill play, I've talked to y'all a few times about the pre-market gap fill trade. This right here, classic pre-market gap fill trade where it came back down. I'm going to put a little circle around it. Let me see if I can get there we go. All of this is gap fill. Classic, go, gap up, come back down, fill the gap. It pulled right back down to the 20 period moving average, which is like a lasso. It pulls it. Yeah, we need another prayer on the shutdown for sure. Pull back, hit the 20, and then this is a area where it bumped right off of here, nice set of tweezers, and it ran the remainder of the day once the gap was filled, right? So a classic gap fill trade play. I taught this in E2T University as well. I need to ask them. I need to maybe capture this picture so that way I can go put that right on into the E2T University website. We're on school. That's where we're doing our communications. That's our community over there for E2T University. And that's a classic drop back into filling that gap. And then it turned and went on the way it was supposed to go, which is kind of how it usually happens. All right. So then we had a nice failed to breakdown, failed to down, which we talked about those. We talked about the strat even in E2T University and in my membership. We talk about that in the membership too. That's what these numbers are on my chart. A nice failed to down right here shows you that the price wanted to turn, and this is a clear indication of a reversal, and it did just that. In reverse, we've got what, 5-6 candles. Finally took a pause at the one candle here, went up a little bit more for a nice reversal here at 3 o'clock. So if you're looking for another reversal, set of tweezers at 3 o'clock, let you know it was turning, and it turned back and pulled back down for the next hour. At 3:30 really is where it started to draw back, was the 3:30 candle, not the 3 o'clock candle. Okay, so there's that. That's what SPX did yesterday. And for the most part, SPX will do something similar. It's not always the same, but SPX will go one direction, reverse, go that way, and it will generally have another reverse later in the day. But that's what SPX did yesterday. The low of SPX yesterday was 68.70. The high of SPX yesterday was 69.11. Okay, so what's that, about 40 points? Is that about 40 points on the day? 68.70 to 69.11. Yeah, the low 68.70, the high 69.11. Yep, that's about 40, 41 points. That was yesterday. All right. Oh, y'all see that? Failed two up yesterday. Failed two up. It went two up, but it turned out red. Failed two up. Yeah, we're definitely still praying for the shutdown because yeah, this is going a little longer than it need to be going. Well, I won't say it's going than it need to be going. It's going longer than it should be going. It's doing longer than it's comfortable to be going, and this is no bueno. Okay, the VIX is at 1640. Let's talk about today. The VIX is at 1640, right? One of the things we're going to see today is volatility is going to be up a little bit. 1640 is not too bad, but once the market opens, it's probably going to climb. Our premiums, for those in my community, our premiums are not going to draw down the way they normally do. The environment is going to be charged a little bit. So where our premiums usually start to draw down early enough, they're not going to draw down the same way that they normally do. So got to keep that in mind. Our patience needs to be ready for the premiums. They won't draw down like they normally do. They're going to stay, premiums will stay up, which is great when we're placing trades throughout the day. But of course, we want to place trades and keep in mind that 2 o'clock is when Jay Powell is going to speak. Yes. So because Jay Powell will speak, we might hear from someone else. This is true. Yep. Other people want to talk too. I need the mic. You can't do all the talking. I need the mic too. All right. Nvidia jumps as Trump fuels hopes for China Blackwell sales. Supposedly, Trump is supposed to speak with the head of Nvidia today. We'll see. We'll be speaking about Blackwells, Trump said Wednesday, ahead of his highly anticipated meeting with Xi later this week. So maybe they won't talk today. Maybe they'll talk later. Because supposedly, I think I made a comment last week about them losing all that market share, NVIDIA losing all that market share in China, and that's not great. So now we got to figure out what's the deal. One big question hangs over Trump's vaunted China deal. Why OpenAI is now closer to becoming magnificent. I don't know what that means. Boeing beats on Q3 revenue as turnaround plan takes off. U.S. and South Korea seal a trade deal. Verizon beats estimates for quarterly subscriber additions. U.S. stock futures rise, buoyed by NVIDIA ahead of Fed Union. What they say, buy the rumor, sell the news. At this point, the NVIDIA thing is a rumor. It ain't, there is nothing solid there. It's just conversation about what we gonna do later. That's a rumor. Okay. Until there's something on the paper, it's a rumor. The Fed's decision is on deck. Here's what to expect. Trump lambasts Fed's Powell again over interest rate cuts. You know, I'm thinking Powell would shock the nation. He run up in there and be like, we're not cutting rates. Not today, cuz. Not Woo! It'll be great. He probably gonna do that, but I'm saying people like, we're gonna hold steady one more time. Trump seeks to cut fentanyl tariff, discuss NVIDIA in Xi talks. Uber plans to offer autonomous taxi rides in San Francisco starting next year. Okay. Etsy names insider Kruti Goyal as CEO because they definitely had a downwards. I guess it was on another page. CNBC said Etsy had a not Etsy. No, well, I think by Etsy or Uber. It was Etsy. They didn't have a good earnings call. Didn't have a good earnings call. Fed is in a very tough situation if it cuts amid a data blackout. That's the truth. You don't have enough data. We don't have the data we need. And when everything that we decide is based on key data, see, this is I won't call it a conspiracy because I don't really like us to do the conspiracy word, but it seems like it's quite convenient that right at the time that he needs to make, they need to make decisions about what to do with the rate cuts and people who really want them to cut versus not cut, yada, yada. We want to get rid of you, get a new people. Yeah, get new people on the job. All of a sudden, we don't have the right data we need to help you make an informed decision, to help y'all make informed decisions. Really though? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Stocks making the biggest moves in pre-market: Nvidia, Caterpillar, Generac, Caesars, and more. All of the pre-markets in the US pre-market are green except for oil. The futures rise as we await the Fed rate decision. People have, I'm sure it's already priced in. Whatever is going to happen on the rate cut or not, the rate decision has already been priced in. Let's look at what Europe has to say. It's all green over there. Mercedes up 5.7%, on pace to be the best trading day since 2022. Oh, wow. Let's see what Asia has. Mixed bag over in Asia. ASX 200, Hang Seng are both red. Nikkei, Nifty 50, and Shanghai are green. Japan's Nikkei crosses 51,000 on Tokyo, Washington trade. Optimism, Fed rate cut hopes. They got hopes over there too. Crypto is got mostly, well, 3 out of 5 red. Solana's at 198, XRP 266, Bitcoin at 113. Okay, Boeing stems cash burn for the first time since 2023, but takes 4.9 billion charge on the 777X delays. CVS beats the estimates and hikes guidance as insurance. Y'all know we are in the midst of heavy earnings right now. So I'll get to the earnings list here in a minute. But the big five get ready to report today and tomorrow. So we got the big boys coming out with the guns this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon. Today are basically all eyes are on the federal funds rate and the FOMC statement and the press conference. That's today at 2 and 2:30. That's what everybody's kind of waiting on. Crude oil inventories at 10:30. It's really like an orange folder, but that's minor in comparison to the FOMC statement, which we will see at 2 or 2:30. I will suggest that you trade light this morning. Okay, trade light, trade quick, trade light, leading up into the 2 o'clock. Don't have any trades that are going through the 2:30 because it's going to be a big swing. Something's going to happen. It always does at 2:30. Some big swing will happen. After some pop or drop, it'll probably be a fake out because it usually is. Give the market a chance to decide which way it's going and then ride that wave. Okay, that's going to be my suggestion. If you're going to do a trade this morning, do it. Turn that trade off before 2 o'clock. Right? Wait till after the announcement comes and then ride that after 2 o'clock, 2:30 wave. Give it a beat. Give 2:30. Take you a break. Go have you some late lunch. Eat you a cookie or something. Have an ice cream between 2 and 2:30. Do the job that somebody's paying you to do between 2 and 2:30. Yeah, that. And then after 2:30, look to ride the wave of what will be created. Okay. Or if you already made good money in the morning, just watch. Just watch or wait for power hour, wait for that. But this is what's going to happen this afternoon. Don't get yourself caught in the fray. As sellers, for sure, we don't need to be in the wave. Just wait, and then we'll ride the wave. We'll ride the wave after. We don't need to be caught in the middle. We don't need to be caught in the middle. So at investing.com, 8:30, we've got wholesale auto sales, wholesale inventory, 10 o'clock, new home sales. Nobody's even talking about that, bro. Okay. Crude oil inventories. It says 3 stars here. Crude oil inventories at 10:30. Heating oil stockpiles. We need that because I'm thinking this winter is going to be a doozy. The storms are already starting. I was in Chicago this past weekend. It was a little chilly and it's October. I was like, it's a little cold up here. I didn't buy a coat. I had to buy a coat. I went there in a sweatshirt thinking that was going to be sufficient. We got off the plane and went and bought a coat. It was 30s. When the pilot said it is 34 degrees here in Chicago, me and my husband looked at each other. What? We got off the plane, got in our rental car, and went to Burlington. Yes, we did. Both bought coats and bought a coat. Because, I didn't have a coat. So he's got coats here at least. I didn't even have a coat. Because in Florida, it don't get cold enough for a coat. It gets cool, so you can put a nice jacket on. But I didn't need a coat. But I bought a little heavier coat. Which I'm happy I bought that. Because we're probably going to take a few trips this winter. And where it's going to be a little cooler. So we'll need some cooler weather clothes. So FOMC statement is at 2 o'clock. and 2:30 is the FOMC press conference. That's happening today. Okay. Let's look at earnings before I go to the charts, and then I show you what Adam. Yeah, Tanya, you did warn me. Tanya told me, she's in Chicago. She told me that it was gonna be a little cool, and I thought about that. Then when we were getting ready in the car to leave, I told my husband, I was like, go back in the house and get your coat. He was like, no, I think I'll be fine. Got there, he just wanted to buy a coat too. He wanted the excuse to buy a new coat. Yeah. Jakara, send me a message so we can talk, okay? Because we need to talk about you being where you need to be where I be, and I'm here, but I don't teach like that here. I want you to be where I am, okay? So let's talk. Send me something offline, off of YouTube, so that way we can talk. Midday treat sounds good. Yes, Janae. Yes. Tanya did warn me. It was cool there. It definitely was cold. She said I slept with my window open last night. Yeah, we were out there on the lake down at the pier, at the Navy pier, and it was a little breezy. It was definitely a little breezy. It tried to rain a little bit. I had some pizza in Chicago from Giordano's. It was good. It was good. For if we got in Chicago, folks. Hey, Chicago people. I was there for only a couple days. Came in, stayed in the downtown area, and then dipped back out on Sunday. Okay, so earnings today. This morning, we have Verizon, Boeing, CVS, Caterpillar, Fiserv, Centene, Etsy, ADP, Flex, and Kraft Heinz was all this morning. This afternoon, after market closes, we're going to have Meta, Microsoft, Alphabet, Chipotle, Carvana, ServiceNow, Starbucks, Mercado Libre, Sprouts, and Agnico Eagle, right? Thursday, tomorrow morning, we're going to have Lilly, Merck, Comcast, Roblox, Blue Owl, Insmed, Quanta, CommScope. What's this? Enterprise. I think it says Enterprise. I don't see a T in there. Enterprise Products Partners, and I feel like it says Enterprise, but I see a T maybe hiding in there. And Advanced Auto Parts. And then Thursday or tomorrow afternoon, we have Amazon and Apple. Coinbase, see all those big MicroStrategy, Riot, Cloudflare, Roku, got a Western Digital, Reddit. We got a lot of big ones. So we got big boys today: Meta, Microsoft, Apple. 3 big boys today: Chipotle, people who trade Chipotle, those 4. And then tomorrow after market, Amazon, Apple, Coinbase. Okay, so we've got some big ones coming up in the next 2 days: today after close and tomorrow after close. Jakara, send me a message at if you're on Facebook, find me on Facebook. I'm Arlissa Bostic Pinkleton. Find me on Facebook, Arlissa Bostic Pinkleton. Send me a message, a messenger message there. Or if you're on Telegram, you can message me there as well, so we can talk. Okay. Okay, so that's earnings. Let's go on. Oh, we're going to see what Adam had to say. Definitely. Adam Mancini, he's a level-to-level trader. He trades the ES instead of SPX. We trade SPX, so we convert his numbers to use for our usage, right? He says we are now 1 week in the same runner. Yesterday's SPX final target given at 8 a.m. was 69.11. We hit 69.11 high of day. I'm telling you, his numbers are on. I don't know what he uses, but his numbers are on. Okay. High of day, and we're back now. Basically 69.07 is where we were a second ago. We're now at SPX 500, currently at 69.10. Definitely back where he said. Per the newsletter, which he puts out a newsletter every day, we got an evening new long trigger on 68.96 reclaim, which paid well. Plan is to wait for FOMC. Okay, I see your message here. I'll see it when I get off here, and then we'll communicate there. 68.96 equals support now. 68.96 is your support. 68.96 for the SPX traders is your support. 69.24, 69.41, 69.68 is up next. We dip if we get below 68.96 to 68.75. That's your next support. The gap between SPX and ES is 32 points. I feel like that's a big jump from, I guess 69.24 does make sense. That's not that big of a jump. Okay. The gap between these two is 32 points. So if you're watching his tweets, you can subtract 32 from his numbers. That'll give you SPX numbers. If you're trading XSP, the range is from 687 to 697. 687 to 697. Amen. Janae says her aunt survived the hurricane in Jamaica. Hallelujah. Listen, that hurricane in Jamaica was something serious. Continue to pray for Jamaica. That hurricane sat right on top of them for far too long. Definitely continue to pray. That's why I said I think this winter is going to be a strong one, because these storms that we're seeing have been strong and heavy. Okay. Bless the Lord that your aunt survived. Hallelujah. Okay, so let's go back to the charts. We got our numbers here off of Adam. And if you're in my community, this graphic is in our Telegram chat, so you can see it there. All right, you can see that there. Okay. Going on, my brain went to something else real quick. Let me bring it back. So, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Move and add to the stage. Let's go to the charts for today. I'm running a little behind on my show, so I need to pick up the pace. Pick up the pace. Okay, so SPY got a few. We got a little gap here that has been left behind on the daily. SPY left behind a gap. The gap that was created yesterday was filled yesterday by it, but look at that doji from yesterday. Woo! Basically, it opened and closed at the same place yesterday. Y'all see this? Oh, y'all can't see. I didn't add it. Sorry. Yeah, Tanya said it was scary. Glad she made it through. Amen. Amen. Okay, so look at that SPY candle for yesterday. This is the candle for yesterday. It's just a little doji. It opened and closed at literally the same spot. Nope, I didn't want you to do that. There we go. Yesterday's candle. You almost can't see it. It's right here. This little thing right in here where my mouse is, that's the candle for yesterday. It left a gap behind between Tuesday and Wednesday. Sorry, between Monday and Tuesday. Between Tuesday and Wednesday, nope, Monday and Tuesday. This gap was left behind, but Tuesday closed its own gap. Let's go to a shorter time frame. That way now we can see today's work. Today's price action leading into this morning. Okay. Yesterday, SPY closed at 686.99, and it is currently at 688.74. So about $2 higher than what it closed yesterday. Almost $2, not quite. Going to be potential. We got 30 minutes before the market opens. Potential of a gap up opening. Now, you remember I already talked about that pre-market gap strategy. Gaps up, it may come back down to fill its own gap before it goes. That may, I mean, it does it more times than not. But there's ways that you can see that it's coming back into the gap, and you can ride it to the gap fill. And then when it turns around and go back the way it's going, you exit the trade and you're done. You're like, I'm good. Got what I was going to get. You going on about your way. Okay. Okay. That's how you do that. Okay. So that's SPY. Up about $2 in the pre-market. Let's see what Triple Q has going. Triple Q, very similar. It closed yesterday at or around 632.91. It's currently at 635.50, so about $3 up, a little less than $3 above where it started, where it closed yesterday. Sorry, above where it closed yesterday. Okay, about $3. So now you got again another little gap up potential. You got 30 minutes before the market opens, but potential gap up on triple Q as well. I need to go to the daily because I think there was a gap here that needs to be documented on the chart. Triple Q didn't close its whole gap yesterday. It closed a part of it, but not all of it. SPY closed its gap, but Triple Q did not. Triple Q has a few gaps it has left behind. So Triple Q has some below work to do. Y'all listen, nature abhors a vacuum. When these gaps get left behind, that means the market or the stock needs to come back down and get it. They need to come back down and get these jump. This is Triple Q. There's a lot of jumping. It jump around. It's left some gaps below. And it has the moving averages stretched way out. IWM, we'll look at IWM on the daily. Oh no, I did not mean to be dropping lines. I did not mean to be doing that. Okay, but I see a big old gap that was left here for by IWM too. From here to now, what's left is that. Those gaps look filled, closed. That one got filled, closed to the open, filled back up, close, filled back up. Yeah, all of that price action has filled those gaps. Yepper. I don't know if you needed to be there. Oh, come on, Cletus. Something goes in there, but I'm not sure that was where I needed it. So I'm taking it off until I can look more closely later. Okay. But yes, there's a gap here between 246.50 and 248. There's a gap there. A little dancing around consolidation action over the last 2 or 3 days between 250, 275, which has been the high, and 248, which has been the low. There, let's go to a shorter time frame, see what the pre-market is providing. Where does it say it is in the pre-market? It's right here in the middle. It's stuck in the middle. SPY. No, not even SPY. IWM is what we're talking. I talk about SPX so much during the day. SPY, Lord, okay. Hello, we're talking about IWM right now. Okay, Arlissa, I'm looking at the camera so I can look to myself, right? IWM closed yesterday at 248.93, and it is currently at 248.85. So it's pretty much right where it was yesterday when it closed. So not much of a gap thing happening there, right? IWM is right where it was yesterday when it closed. All righty. So we've talked about those three. Let's hit SPX 500 again before we start to land the plane. SPX 500, which is with the way we can see SPX in the pre-market, it is at 69.11, right where Adam was talking about, where you can tell we are still on a bullish move, still on a bullish kind of move. But listen, Linda. All right, let me go this to SPX. See what kind of gaps we have down here. We've left some gaps behind, and SPX does like to get its gaps. I'm not saying it's going to get them today, but I'm saying SPX likes to get its gaps. They don't like to leave them for too long. I'm wondering why those were off. Okay. There is a gap between 67.92 and 68.44. There's a gap there. There's a gap from 67.38 to 67.71. Now, those are pretty far away, but just know they're down there. And SPX like to go back and get its stuff. It don't like to leave its stuff undone. Imbalanced. It likes to go back and grab it, and it'll grab it. It'll drop and grab it and then go on where it's going. But because we've seen it, look back here. This big drop back here was to go grab a gap that was left. I took it off my chart now, but these big drops at times will go back and grab imbalances that were left behind. All right. That's what it'll do. Just so you know. All right. If you're trading SPX like that. Speaking of SPX, we have our membership option seller zone where we trade SPX and IWM. We've combined the big cap and the small cap all in there together. 0 DTE, 1 DTE, 5 DTE trading, right? Profitable strategy with less screen time. Daily profits to grow your account. We trade together. We get alerts. We have training and charting. We have a nice community of support. All the things that you would need to be a productive and profitable trader, it's there. And I'm there. Of course, I'm there. I'm not just handing you a bunch of videos and saying, go for it, right? I'm there to help guide you. Now, along the guidance, it does include some videos because some things I've taught already. And I'll say, okay, you want to learn this? Now go watch this video. So when I talk about it again, you're ready. You're ready. You can understand what I'm talking about. But I'm there to teach and train, and I'm there each day. I only alert trades that I take. I'm not just sending out alerts all willy-nilly. And if I see a trade that I think would be a good trade, but I'm not taking it, I will say, I'm not taking this trade, but I believe, take a look at this, right? So I don't just send you out there all into the wolves by yourself. Usually I'm in the fight too. Right? We were all together yesterday. A bunch of us were all together at 69.05, 69.10 yesterday. We were all in the fight together, holding steady when the price went up to 69.11. Right? As price was climbing and up in here, we were all in there together. Just, I'm yet holding on. I'm yet holding on and yet holding on. Y'all didn't see my screen because my screen is right here where price was climbing. And I'm like, I really should have exited the trade when I saw it doing all this down here. I really could have exited the trade and then not had to be mindful of it. But after the opportunity passed, I was like, nah, I got to hold on and see what the end gonna be. So I had to hold on, but I was fussing at myself too, because I was like, now you should have been gone when you saw all this, Arlissa, because this reversal let you know it was getting ready to move. And you should have been gone, took your smaller loss, repositioned, and then traded going with the trend. But then it got so far along, and then I needed I had to hold on and pray. Lord, now I know I should have been gone down here, Jesus. I know. But since I'm not, I wasn't. And now I'm still here. I need to know that you're here too. I need to know that you're here, that you are above 69.05, saying not up here, devil. That's what I needed yesterday. I needed that yesterday. And the Lord, he hears and delivers. And he sent it right on back down and said, no, not today. She'll do better tomorrow. She'll do better tomorrow. So me and my community, we all held tight. We held tight. The price fell back down. And we were able to keep our profits. Okay. Okay, that's what we do. But this is the thing. My point is that I don't leave my folks out there to fight and fend for themselves. We all fighting and fending together, right? We're in this, we're in this thing together. We're in this thing together. We all know together. So if you want to join the membership, the link is there. You can either join it at e2t.trading, or you can join it over at my website, educator2trader.com. You can find all of my products at educator2trader.com. Everything I offer is there to purchase. Okay, y'all see the picture in my membership picture is the same outfit I have on today. How interesting is that? All right, let's go ahead. About 9:15, y'all give y'all about 15 minutes to get yourself settled and situated. Go grab your coffee to get ready for the market to open. Gives me a chance to go and get myself ready to go to work and get my commute started. Right. I declare I'm a great trader, a successful trader, and a focused trader. I declare my wins exceed my losses and my account is growing steadily. I am a wise and knowledgeable trader. Yes, I am, even though sometimes I don't act like it. I have a strategy that I use for my trades. I do have that. I don't randomly place trades. This is the truth. I am a level-headed trader who trades my plan and not my emotions. Even though yesterday we were holding strong, I will say that my emotions were holding steady. I wasn't, in the past, I would have been a lot more internally torn up and thrown up on, but I wasn't yesterday. I was calm, but I was just looking at myself going, not girl, you should have been gone earlier today. Why are you still in this here trade? Mm-hmm. You got to have your talks to yourself, right? Lord, it's you who gives us the power to get wealth. Help us today to trade our strategy with wisdom and knowledge. Allow us to prosper enough to have what we need and enough to bless others. In Jesus' name, amen and amen. All right. You have to remind the Lord sometime that the Lord, this is your money, and I do use it for the growth of your kingdom. So if I lose it, that's things I can't do with it. That's stuff I can't do with it. If I not, yes, it's giving the market the money back, because this is, I've profited money along the way. But it's like, Lord, the more I make, the more I can give away. So when I lose it, I can't give it away. So help me, Jesus. Help me to manage me. That when you get you managed, this is my parting information. When you get you under control, your trading will skyrocket. When you get you under control, when you have got your own emotions, your fear, your FOMO, your greed, when you've got your own emotions under control, your trading profits will skyrocket, because you will then follow your strategy. You will enter your trades based on your strategy. You will exit your trades based on your strategy. You will manage your trades based on your strategy. Most of us are fine with the entry. We may be okay with the exit. It's that middle. It's that middle management where most of us get shaken out. All right. But when you have yourself under control and you've got a good trading plan, you can follow that and your trading is going to go to the moon. All right. So now, this is what I want you to do. I try to be, your name just jumped out of my head. Just jumped, TJ. There we go. There we go, TJ. Yeah, let's go ahead. What are we going to do today? We're going to do our two things. I almost called you to Jocelyn, but I know who you are. I was going to call you by your whole name and then was like, she might not want me to call her by her government name. That's the name that popped into my head, was your whole name. Your whole name. You're like, wait, look now. You ain't got to call me by my whole name. Yes. We're going to stay green, and we're going to get this money, and we're going to have a great green day. All right. I will see y'all in the market. And for my folks, I will see you in the chat. All right. Goodbye, everyone.